Good morning, y'all. It's time for coffee and cards. Except I have the Pisces mug today. Mark is a Pisces, and I have Neptune on my rising sign, so I kind of have that Piscean influence going pretty strong, so I can drink out of the Pisces. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Tam. It's good to see y'all. So, tarot. We're going to be talking about the twos today. Sometimes with learning the cards, it helps to break them into groups, right? So that you can like start to understand like themes. And I'm still going to be doing it through the lens of like the embodiment aspect, but with tarot, there's obviously a certain amount of like intellectual understanding. I'm not saying we shouldn't have an actual like brain-based knowledge of what the cards are and represent. You just shouldn't only focus there, and that shouldn't become something that blocks you from feeling like you can pick up the cards and read them and engage with them and not have to like look at the book or be like, wait, what did that mean? What did that mean? Okay? So I'm going to show you how we can begin to be more embodied even when we are coming from a knowledge base. All right? So we're going to talk about the twos in tarot, and I'm using this really great deck called the Everyday Tarot by the Biddy Tarot peoples, because that was an online tarot resource for years, like back in the days of like dial-up AOL, when I was like little teenager Leah with her first deck of tarot cards that I got in Salem, Massachusetts. It was like I would sign on and it would go and then I would go to these like websites and look up like card meanings, because the booklet that came with my cards just wasn't enough for me. I wanted to like know more. Good morning, Julie. I like knowing everything that I possibly can. So Biddy Tarot has been a great resource, and they finally, the woman behind Biddy Tarot finally made a deck. And it's a really great deck because it has like a lot of the standard symbolism that tarot like was based on, but in a more modern way. And I love these cards are actually pretty small, like compared to a regular size tarot card. You see the difference? So I can like throw these in this cute little bag my friend made. Look at that. And put them in my purse and like always have like an actual deck on me. Good morning, Brittany. I'm glad you loved the my morning lives, y'all. Okay, so the twos. And what I've done is I've broken, you might be thinking the twos are just the minor arcana. So little crash course, backing it up. In tarot, there are 78 cards in the deck. 22 cards are what we call the major arcana. And these are like bigger energies, archetypes. They're the cards that have the words on it. Judgment is one. Okay, little pet peeve of mine, grammar nerd, judgment. They spell it with an E here. I don't like that. I was taught to spell it without the E. Lots of tarot decks do this. It's okay. I will forgive them because the deck is really great, but don't spell judgment with an E, okay? That's my judgment. But so these are also twos. The minor arcana is what we think of when we think of twos, because there's actual two of wands, okay? Two of swords, two of pentacles, and two of cups. Those are the suits. It's kind of like a playing deck, okay? Well, we have the suits, and they all have the twos on them. Those are all twos. But when I think about tarot, I also think about the major arcana twos. And there's actually 3 of them because of numerology. And I'm the nerd who gave a report on numerology to her 10th grade class when we had to give speeches one year, and I printed numerology reports for everyone in my class. I really like all of this stuff. So, again, big nerd, big research. So we also have the first 2 is the High Priestess. Okay, in the major arcana. These are, again, the bigger energies. Major arcana has 22 cards. Minor arcana has 56 cards to make up 78 cards in the tarot deck, okay? So the High Priestess is the first 2 in the major arcana. I want you to notice some similarities. There's all of the twos have some form of balance and contradiction. Do you see the shoes down here? Different colors, and he's juggling these 2 things. High Priestess has 2 different colors, 2 different pillars. 2 of Swords, okay? The swords are crossed. And so there's this theme of balance in all of them. 2 of Wands, she's standing between 2 wands. And then the 2 of Cups, it's this intertwined. The yin and the yang is there, all right? But the High Priestess has that too, and she's a 2. There is also, because of numerology, 11, card number 11, which is Justice in this deck. Now, some decks do 11 as Strength, and some decks do it as Justice. I don't really know why that is, but Justice feels more like a 2 to me because of the sense of balance. You see the scales down here and looking in one direction. A lot of the 2s involve making a choice or like needing to like look at both sides, but choose, like you're beginning to choose to go in a certain direction. And then the final 2 is card 20. So in numerology, you add digits. 1 plus 1 of 11 becomes 2. And then 2 plus 0 from 20 also becomes 2. And so here we have the Judgment card. We have the angel up here and the person down here. So there's like human and divine. There's that sense of above and below. So we're getting all of these different themes of like polarity, either or, this or that. Where are we on that spectrum? And so that's part of the energy of the 2s. So when I look at this from like the embodiment perspective, all of these cards have a different meaning. They don't all mean, just because it's a 2, it doesn't all mean the same thing. So I would look at this card and see, oh look, I got my nails done yesterday, y'all. You can't tell, but they're actually sparkly purple and they kind of match this deck. So fun. Okay, so back to the card. 2 of Swords. What's going on here? This woman is blindfolded, right? So think about that and then feel that. This is what I do with the cards. I literally put myself in the card, okay? I am her. How does that feel for me? I might even close my eyes momentarily. Okay, close my eyes and like do this. We are embodying this. This is how it's gonna get in your bones and muscles and cells, and you're gonna remember these cards. 2 of Swords. Imagine like you're holding 2 swords. Go grab 2 swords if you have them. I was doing a reading one day for this amazing woman, and she had the Justice card, which has a big sword. I was like, you just need a really big sword. This was a woman. She looks like a little sweet little old lady, and she was just like, oh, you mean like this? And she turned around behind her and pulled out, for real, a huge freaking sword. And I was just like, yes, that's what you need. I was like, you need to like hold that sword and feel that power. Interesting, right? Okay, but you're blindfolded with swords? That's a little dangerous. I went axe throwing the other day and they let people drink in there and there's all these like drunk people hurling axes and I didn't feel very safe. But I got really good at throwing axes, so. Anyways, 2 of Swords. So do that. Like literally sit here with your eyes closed, cross your arms, and imagine you have 2 huge sharp swords in your hand. How does that feel? And you're blindfolded. You know, you can't see. There's a weight. Swords are heavy. I don't know if y'all have ever held swords. I have. They're heavy. There's a weight to them if you're not used to carrying them. There's a weight here and there's a tension. Sometimes in some decks, the 2 of Swords, it's 2 swords coming together that are crossed. Either way, there's some kind of tension. All right, there's a tension there and there's a weight. You're facing like some kind of heavy decision, but you don't have all the information. You can't see which way you're going. All of that is there. And then we have the moon up here. Moon always indicates like change, things are in flux. If you want to really get into it, in this card, the light of the moon is on the left. So it's a waning moon, which means we're going more into darkness, instead of more into light. So things are not necessarily going to get clear anytime soon. The 2 of Swords deals with leaning into tension, into the unknown, and actually needing to rest in that space. So yeah, that's how I do this. Okay. So let's do another one. let's see, which one do I want to do? The Two of Pentacles often has someone juggling something. In this case, he's got two pentacles that he's juggling. There's like boats out here on the water, and he's wearing two different color socks. Or maybe he had like a shoe and a sock and he lost a shoe. I don't know exactly what's going on. But again, pretend you're this dude. Maybe it's a woman. Who cares? Whatever. It's a person. Pretend you're this person. And there's a kind of like humorous, like when we think about like the juggling, it's sort of like, are you a circus performer? Is this entertainment? Is this funny? I don't really know. There's the juxtaposition between land and water. What are those ships doing out there? Like, we're not out on those ships, so I don't know. Do we want to go be on the ship? And it usually makes this infinity loop too. So think about that. Like, imagine you were actually holding these two big balls, but they're like kind of looped together, and like get that feeling, because even though he's on land, he looks more like the water, right? And so feel into that, and the pentacles, it's about the elements, it's the connection of all the elements. Pentacles is the suit of what we are bringing into form. It's connected to the earth element. So there's that sense of trying to be on land, but moving more like water. How are we engaging these elements? And maybe there's wind blowing too. I don't know. And things aren't just one or the other, right? Not just one or the other. It's a little topsy-turvy. It's a little outside the norm, alrighty? And so we're trying to find a balance, or we're not. Maybe we're just letting things be not totally in balance, but there is still an inherent balance. Those things are connected by an infinite loop. So no matter how high or low they go, they're still connected. And the Two of Pentacles is reminding you that no matter what, like, you're good. You know, like, you're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be okay. But you do have to do a little bit of juggling. You have to stay flexible, and see what feels right. It's a little bit about, you don't know yet. The twos are also early. Think about two, like the minor arcana suits go from ace to 10, and then there's the court cards, page, knight, king, and queen. But from 2 to 10, that's a journey, right? And so 2 is at the beginning of that journey. You're at the beginning. You haven't found your footing yet, right? You haven't found your footing. You're still figuring things out, and you're being asked to stay a little flexible, knowing that things will. You're not going to completely drop the balls. You're not going to completely lose your balance, but you need to be a little flowy right now. Alrighty, so I'm going to talk a little bit about these major cards. Do y'all have any questions? So if you have questions, reach out at any point. I'm just on my roll. You know how I go. So, the High Priestess, the first and biggest two. Bum, bum, bum. I love her. She's potent. She's potent. But there is this sense of balance between the polarities, the yin and the yang, the light and the shadow, and how she's able to hold both, and she can be both at once, and she stands in this doorway. She is between worlds. She's a little bit otherworldly, intuitive, abstract, but she also knows that, like, there is this other more solid realm. She's explores the light as much as she explores the darkness. She does not shy away from going into the dark spaces. And that's what the High Priestess calls forth, is this strength, this trust, this intuitive knowing that we need to not ignore or avoid the darkness. But it doesn't lessen our light. But we're not just one or the other, okay? So you can feel that too. She's holding a crystal ball. And then there's the moon. Again, moon, it's waning, moving into darkness. So all of that is significant. Use all the information on the card. And this is a more minimal card compared to some of my decks that have like a lot more imagery, a lot more colors. This has a very limited color palette, but there is a starkness in this deck with still enough detail to really get into the feel of the cards that I really appreciate. So your deck doesn't have to be like full rainbow, lots going on. It can be more minimal, but still it should evoke something. Like you should feel something when you look at that card. And I do. I don't know if you do, but try to feel it. And again, try to put yourself in the card. Then we have Justice, number 11. There she is with her big sword, okay? And then the scales down here. My husband's going off. You want to say hi?
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
I'm going to interview for a job.
Yay.
Think good thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate
Good
it
thoughts. Good thoughts. Wait, let me pull a card for you.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Da 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 da. Da da da. Ooh, you have the sun. The sun. Go shine. Shine, baby.
What's that mean for me?
It means you're just going to be yourself and shine your light, and then they're going to be like, yes, we love you. And then you'll bring riches and abundance and new life.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Goodbye. Okay. Sorry. Sun. I love the sun. Here comes the sun. Da 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 da. All right. So, yep, just at home doing my thing. Justice. Wait, where'd Justice go? Here we go. Justice, big sword, looking in one direction. She knows I'm going to have to cut some bullshit out of my life right now. It's not balanced. Something's out of balance, and when things are out of balance, we got to make some tough choices. We have to set some boundaries. Someone might get hurt. But look, she's wearing a crown, right? She is in a position of authority. She has her crown open. She's not just coming from a place of simple judgment. The crown represents like crown chakra, that she has access to higher information, to a bigger picture. So if she does have to use that sword, it's coming from a place of deeper connection and needing to make some hard choices when you have to restore the balance, because it's not just for you, that she has an authority that affects the people around her. So that's part of the themes of Justice. And you might interpret these cards differently, and you should, and depending on the reading and the person and where in the spread the card falls. This is just a very simplistic way. And in my embodied tarot class that we're doing, that launches on Tuesday, July 2nd, we are going to be really getting into even more of the layers and the nuances of these cards, and like when it shows up in different ways, depending on the readings we're doing and the questions we're asking. This is just a very basic intro, a little like dip your toe into these cards. And then we have Judgment, number 20, also a 2, right? Because 2 plus 0 is 2. Person down here, angel up here. There's that sense of like, and again, the card is called Judgment, but it's like, where are we? Are we the person down here? And put yourself in both places, right? So when there's more than one person on the card, be both people. And feel what it's like to feel both sides, okay? Especially with the 2s, because the 2 is all about negotiating polarity and balance and this and that. So be down here and imagine, how would that feel? Oh my God, there's this angel coming. Would that shake your sense of your worldview? Like, let's say you had just always just gone through your life thinking, okay, I don't really think angels are real. But then one day, like, one drops out of the freaking sky and blowing a horn, that would like really shake you up probably. And it would shift. Judgment isn't necessarily about judging. It's about perspective. And it's about like, whoa, I'm going to live my life maybe kind of differently now that I know angels are like really real and might drop out of the sky and blow a horn at me. Right? Right? And then the angel up here is like coming down again from above, this like greater perspective with something to share. So Judgment sometimes can call us to, we need to share a truth. We need to speak into what we know is actually going on, because this angel can see everything that's happening down below. And it's like, hey, y'all, wake up. Like, this shit you're worried about is not so important maybe. And there might be like a bigger picture that we could all kind of collectively gather around. Like, don't put children in like cages. Maybe don't do that. Okay. Not gonna get off on that tangent because I'll cry and get really angry. But like, what does this card say? And put it into your life. How would that show up in your life? What situation, if you're in a situation, and let's say you're pulling cards because you're trying to figure something out, and this card shows up, it's saying, hey, drop in. What else could be true here? what would happen? Like, imagine like you are in this situation. What would happen if an angel dropped out of the sky? What might that angel say to you? Or spirit guide, or whatever, an alien coming down. It doesn't have to be an angel, you know, like whatever. If your grandfather dropped down from heaven and was like, hey, here's what's up, what do you think might happen? How could the situation change, right? Or conversely, if you lifted yourself up into that higher perspective, if you embodied your highest self, how would that feel for you? I don't know. Sometimes I'm in a situation and I know I'm just reacting from my ego. I'm reacting from fear or hurt or judgment. And when I step back and I'm like, well, what would I share with a client in this? What would I tell my child or my best friend in this situation? Then I shift how I respond, right? How I relate. So there's that, you know? That's how we can begin to more fully embody these cards and put ourselves into the readings to get better information that actually is valuable. Okay, I'm going to scroll up and read some comments. Okay, this is interesting. Tam says, been feeling kind of lost and found lately that it makes any sense at all. Oh, lost and found lately. Yes, feeling kind of lost and found. That's very much relevant these days. Oh yes, please set up a personal reading with me. I would love that, and I offer that. Private readings, both remotely and in person, so you can do that. Yay! And then, Steph, what do you say? For major cards, I know it depends on the reading positions, but how can you tell if it's symbolizing you or someone else in the reading when it's hard to tell? All right, that is a very, very good question, Steph. Very good. Bonus points for like a really thoughtful question. So, how can you tell if it's symbolizing you or someone else? Sometimes it's actually both. Sometimes it's not either or. And so when you do this thing, like I'm saying, you drop in. First, if there's more than one person or being on the card, drop into both. You have to feel it. You have to just feel it out. You will know, or you'll get an inkling. So imagine if you're reading for someone else, or you're doing a reading about you and someone else, just drop in. And there might be that the card pertains to both of you, but in different ways. Like maybe you're this person and the other person is that person. Or if it's just a card that only has like one person, you just kind of like imagine yourself as Justice and what that feels like, and ask yourself like, okay, what would I do if I was this woman with the sword and the scales and this, you know, bigger awareness? What needs to happen? And just wait and see what you feel. And then imagine the other person is this person. Because sometimes you don't know right away, but when you bring it home into yourself and when you really sit with it for a little bit, you should feel. You should feel. And then if you really don't know, you can ask. Like you can pull an extra card, even ask for clarity. Be like, okay, I'm not sure, like I need more guidance here. And ask and pull a different card saying, you know, give me more clarity, or if this pertains to person A, what is the deeper message? And I would pull a card. Oh, look, I pulled Wheel of Fortune. Okay, if this card pertains to me, what is the message? Pull an additional card. Oh, for me, it's King of Swords. So those are two different, you're going in two different directions. For the other person, Wheel of Fortune would say they need to like not swing that sword. They need to just wait, and the scales will balance themselves as things change. For you, King of Swords is gonna use, like, it's time to make a decision and you have the authority here. So maybe that card is relevant for both of you, but in different ways. And so when you really can't feel it out, pull clarifying cards. Great question, thank you. I'm actually gonna wrap this up now. But I've started a YouTube channel, so if you've missed this or you want to watch it again, I'm uploading the videos that I do to YouTube. Just look for Leah Tyoxin. I don't really know YouTube that well yet, so I'm figuring it out. But I will start doing videos just on YouTube. I think YouTube lets you live stream as well. I'm learning all of it. But I have so many friends that aren't on Facebook for like mental health reasons, or they just don't want to be. And I'm trying to be more accessible and inclusive for all the people. And I'm thinking YouTube lets me do text as well. I'm trying to figure something that lets me, I have friends that are deaf and hard of hearing, and I just, again, any resources y'all know of that I'm not aware of, feel free to send them my way, but I'm just exploring ways to make this work more accessible. And my Embodied Tarot class, it's starting next Tuesday, Eclipse Day. There's a reason we're doing it on Eclipse Day. This course is big magic, like big magic. So if you like tarot and you are ready for some like mega magic in your life in a really fun way, talk to me about the course. I have a payment plan available. I have a full-time payment. Totally happy to work out other options for people. I really want this course to be fun and available and still pay my bills. So reach out if you're interested in the course and you have any reservations about signing up. So I love y'all. Have a wonderful day. Mwah! Bye.